will determine the next chapter, but okay, enough with the metaphors.
Right.
Let's get back to the concrete events of 2024.
Okay.
We were talking about the climate crisis and the growing momentum for action.
Yeah.
Did we see any real progress on that front?
There were definitely some notable developments.
Okay.
The European Union, for example, they implemented even stricter emissions targets. And several countries, including Canada and Japan, announced plans to phase out coal-powered plants.
Those are encouraging steps,
Yeah.
but are they enough to avert the worst effects of climate change?
That's the big question, and the answer is complex.
Okay.
On one hand, these actions demonstrate this growing commitment to addressing the climate crisis.
Right.
But on the other hand, the pace of change is still too slow. We need bolder action, more investment in renewable energy,
Yeah.
and a fundamental shift in our consumption patterns.
So it's a race against time.
It is.
And while governments and corporations have a huge role to play,
Yes.
I think a lot of people are feeling overwhelmed. Like their individual actions don't really matter.
Right.
What would you say to someone who feels that way?
I understand that sentiment,
Yeah.
but it's important to remember that individual actions, when multiplied by millions,
Right.
can create a powerful force for change.
Yeah.
Think about the impact of consumer choices, right?
Yeah.
On the market, if more people demand sustainable products, businesses will respond.
Right.
And as more people adopt these eco-friendly habits,
Yeah.
those habits become the norm,
Right.
influencing others to do the same.
It's like a ripple effect.
Yeah.
Where small actions can create larger waves of change.
Exactly. And don't underestimate the power of your voice. Engage in conversations about climate change with your friends, your family, your community.
Right.
Advocate for policies that promote sustainability.
Okay.
Every action, no matter how small, contributes to the solution.
That's a good reminder.
Yeah.
And it makes me think about the cultural events that happened in 2024.
Okay.
Like the Euros and the Rugby World Cup.
Yeah.
Even though these are just sporting events,
Right.
they have this amazing ability to bring people together
They do.
from all over the world.
Yeah.
It's like for a brief moment,
Yeah.
everyone forgets their differences and just celebrates the shared love of the game.
I love that.
Do you think these events have a bigger role to play in fostering global understanding and cooperation?
Absolutely. I mean, these events are more than just entertainment, right?
Right.
They're platforms for cultural exchange, shared experiences.
Yeah.
They allow people to connect on a human level, transcending national boundaries and political divides.
It's like a reminder that we're all part of the same team, humanity.
Yeah.
Even if we sometimes forget that.
Exactly. And these moments of shared joy and celebration,
Yeah.
they can be incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
They can inspire us to work together to address the challenges we face.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground so far.
We have.
We've talked about political upheavals, economic shifts, technological advancements, the climate crisis, and even the unifying power of sports.
Right.
But as we wrap up this deep dive into 2024, I'm curious to hear your overall assessment.
Okay.
What were the biggest takeaways for you? What are the trends that will continue to shape the world in the years to come?
That's a big question.
It is.
But I'll try to distill it down to a few key points.
Okay.
First, we're living in a time of accelerated change.
Okay.
The pace of technological innovation, geopolitical shifts, social transformations, unlike anything we've seen before.
Yeah.
This creates both opportunities and challenges.
Right.
We need to be adaptable, innovative, willing to embrace new ways of thinking and doing.
So buckle up.
Yeah.
Because the ride's not slowing down anytime soon.
Exactly. Second, the global balance of power is shifting. The rise of emerging economies, particularly in Asia,
Right.
is reshaping the geopolitical landscape.
Yeah.
We're moving away from a U.S.-dominated world order
Okay.
towards a more multipolar system.
And as we discussed earlier, this has implications for everything.
It does.
From global trade and finance to international security and climate change negotiations.
Precisely. Third, technology will continue to be a major driver of change, both positive and disruptive.
Yeah.
Advancements in artificial intelligence, biotechnology, renewable energy, they have the potential to solve some of humanity's greatest challenges. But they also pose significant risks if not managed responsibly.
It's like we're holding a powerful tool
Yeah.
that can be used for good or for ill.
Right.
It all comes down to the choices we make.
That's a great analogy. And finally, the climate crisis is no longer a distant threat.
Right.
It's a present reality.
Yeah.
The impacts of climate change are being felt around the world. and we need to act urgently to avert the worst-case scenarios.
So a lot of challenges, but also a lot of potential.
Absolutely.
What advice would you give to someone who wants to make a positive impact in this complex and rapidly changing world?
Here's what I would say. Stay informed, stay engaged, and stay hopeful.
Okay.
Don't be overwhelmed by the scale of the challenges.
Right.
Focus on what you can control.
Okay.
Educate yourself about the issues, make conscious choices in your daily life, and use your voice to advocate for change. Remember, every action, no matter how small, contributes to the solution.
Well said. I think that's a great note to end on.
Good.
But before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to leave our listeners with another thought to chew on.
Okay.
If 2024 was the year of awakening and we all have a role to play in this unfolding story,
Right.
what role will you choose to play? Will you be a bystander, a critic, or an active participant in shaping the future? The choice is yours. It really is a powerful question.
It is.
You know, it's easy to feel like our individual actions are insignificant
Right.
in the grand scheme of things, but I think you made a really compelling case for why that's just not true.
Yeah.
Every choice we make, every action we take, it ripples outwards.
It does.
Contributing to the collective story we're all writing.
It's like that famous Margaret Mead quote.
Oh, yeah.
Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has.
Powerful stuff.
It is.
And in a world as interconnected as ours,
Yeah.
that power to affect change is only amplified.
For sure.
So it's not just about these grand gestures
Right.
or sweeping revolutions.
Yeah.
It's about the cumulative impact
Yeah.
of countless individual choices.
Exactly. And those choices aren't limited to voting or activism.
Right.
They show up in our everyday lives. What we buy, how we travel, how we interact with our communities,
Right.
the information we consume, the conversations we have.
You know, it's funny, as we've been talking about all these global events and trends, I've been struck by how interconnected everything really is.
It is, yeah.
It's like a giant web where tugging in one corner creates ripples throughout the entire structure.
That's a great analogy. I mean, we live in a system where political decisions in one country can impact economic conditions in another,
Right.
where technological advancements can reshape entire industries. A conflict in one region can destabilize global markets. And individual actions can collectively contribute to solutions for global challenges.
So it's not just about understanding the individual pieces of the puzzle,
Right.
but also about seeing the bigger picture, how everything fits together.
Precisely. And that's what we've tried to do in this deep dive into 2024.
Yeah.
We have explored the major events, uncovered some of those hidden connections,
Right.
and hopefully equipped you with a deeper understanding of the forces that are shaping our world.
And while 2024 was certainly a year of extremes, I think it also revealed our capacity for resilience, for innovation, and for compassion.
I agree. We saw individuals and communities coming together to support each other in times of crisis.
Yeah.
We saw those breakthroughs in technology that offer hope for a better future.
Right.
And we saw a growing awareness of the need for collective action to address the challenges we face.
So amidst all the uncertainty and upheaval, there's also reason for optimism.
Absolutely. The future is not predetermined. It's being shaped right now
Yeah.
by the choices we make, the actions we take, the stories we tell.
And as we wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah.
I want to invite our listeners to continue the conversation.
Yeah.
Don't let this be a passive listening experience.
Right.
Engage with the ideas we've discussed.
Yeah.
Share your own perspectives and take action
Yes.
in your own lives and communities.
The world needs informed, engaged citizens more than ever. So stay curious, stay connected, and keep diving deep.
That's a perfect way to end our exploration of 2024. Thank you for joining us on this journey.
Yes, thank you.
We hope you found it insightful and thought-provoking.
And until next time,
Yes.
keep exploring, keep learning, and keep shaping the future.